good people, and welcome to another episode of Life Codes 254. And we're doing it different for this episode. And we want to get to know who are the hosts of Life Codes 254. And we're going to start with Harry. Hi, how are you?
Good.
You're good?
Yes.
How are you feeling?
I'm feeling good.
We're going into season 3.
Excited.
Milestone.
Yeah.
So let's get to know you.
Oh, let's get to know me. What's there to know? I wear many hats.
You wear many hats.
Yeah.
So I'm going to read a series of questions.
Yes.
And you're going to try and answer.
Yes.
To your people.
Julio.
Our people.
Yes.
So that they get to know, the person that you are and what drives you. Yeah.
Let's do it.
Let's do this, yeah?
Yes. Yeah.
I hope you are excited for this. This was prompted by one of you guys. You said you want to get to know us personally, over and above the topics that we talk about. And so let's start this. So the first question.
Yes.
Tell us about your journey into Life Coach 254 and how you balance it with your everyday life.
Okay. So for a long time I'd been wanting to have a platform where I engage life in a deeper, broader perspective that brings value, that offers value to my audience, and that really engages those issues that are hard to tackle, that are actually affecting society. And that's when we met, and I remember that time you were doing creative talks. Yeah, and I loved your energy around it. I saw a lot of congruence in terms of vision, in terms of the conversations that you want to drive, and in terms of the impact that you want to have on people in general. And so starting Life Codes with you was quite something, and
it's a beautiful journey.
I guess that's why it's been a beautiful journey, yeah? When this congruence of vision becomes easy. Yeah.
Nice.
Yeah.
So, I don't know if the audience, if our listeners and our viewers, if they know this, but you're a musician.
Yes.
Yeah?
Yes.
Beautiful voice.
Oh, thank you.
Every time you sing, it's lovely.
Oh.
So as a musician.
Yes.
How do you incorporate your musical talents into your podcasting and other endeavors?
Basically, I've always been an artistic person in terms of the creative space, and I've always loved singing as an art. And so it is a form of expression that helps me just let loose and let go and be just someone totally different. And for me, singing is a no-brainer. If I was doing nothing else, I think I'd retire into music one day. But as you said, yes, I wear many hats. There are quite a number of things that I do, but music is one of the things that I really love. And it's been a journey, trying to build an audience, trying to find a niche, trying to find a sound. Has been a journey that has been exciting to be on. I'm still looking for a sound that best envisages or my artistry and my self-expression and the focus that I have in terms of my rhythm, in terms of a good beat, and headed towards that, writing more music, writing more songs, and I think it gets better. So we have a lot to look out for in the coming weeks, months, and so on.
Okay. So you have songs you've written?
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah. So,
do you want to tell us about your songs?
Okay.
And where we can find your song?
Yeah. Yeah. So I'm on YouTube right now as Harry Writho. That's Harry Writho, where I've done some covers. I've done some Kikuyu music. I sang a song to mothers in general during a Mother's Day in, was it 2019? Yeah, 2021, and yeah, just trying to appreciate my mom, seeing the things that she went through. I think I write usually from a place of whatever I'm going through, the emotion that I'm going through right at a certain point, and so I pour it out in that form of artistry. And so I've moved from that, and I did also a song with Harry Kimani, who I believe is a legend, and he's just a musical genius, and he has a very unique sound that really conjoins well with my voice, and we've done quite some projects with him, and one of the songs is Hariwe, so it's in Kikuyu, and so I felt for a while I was doing a lot of Kikuyu. It was my comfort zone, and so I decided, let me get out of my comfort zone in the Kikuyu space so that I can broaden my audience, one, but two, so that I can we're in a global village right now, and so you want music that will encompass a bigger niche of people, a bigger demographic of people, and so I think in the future it will influence how I write my music. Yeah.
Nice, amazing.
Yeah.
And we'll love to hear when you produce and when you give us the music. We're here for it.
Oh.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So you are big on environment.
Yes.
Yeah. And so tell us,
yes,
with your focus in climate change and environmental conversation, what inspired you to become a green champion and focus on green tech and transitions?
So I believe the future is green, Annette. Where we're headed as a populace, the future is green because over time we've accumulated a lot of carbon footprints that have led to this whole catastrophe that is happening in the world right now in terms of the global warming. And so I started this passion when I was way back in campus, when I was in my third year. I remember when we had a pageant for Mr. and Miss Jaquat, and it's more or less I was thrown into the deep end. I had to vie, and when it came to like my themed creative focus on that particular pageant, it came as a no-brainer to me to craft a theme of saving the environment music to my ears. And so I believe that's when like the whole environment passion was birthed. And so over the years I've been able to do or to be involved in quite a number of environment projects, from rehabilitation of riparian areas of rivers, Nairobi River, Thika River, just trying to remove the heavy toxins from the waters, to remove the bad smell from the waters, just trying to clean up the rivers, just trying to hold the ecosystems around the rivers by planting impact trees like bamboo, other forest trees that are of value. And so over time, I was just looking at how do I help the environment be a better place, be in better stead, but even as I do that, from a place of impact. And so it is what now has over time, because we're in the information age right now, Annette, it pulled me now towards green transitions, focused on green tech that will try to see how do we incentivize this whole story for climate change. How do we make it an incentive for me to be engaged in clean energy? How do we incentivize me planting that tree, such that even as a country, as we set the targets of planting 15 billion trees for this particular term for the current president, what does it mean for the local person, for the common mwananchi? So coming up with tech solutions that will be able to address this and incentivize this whole push for going green and for the better of the universe. Yeah.
Amazing.
Yeah.
On to the fourth question.
Yes.
Could you share some insights on your role as a mentor and how you support others in their personal and professional growth.
Okay. So I believe that as human beings, we are as diverse as the stars in the sky. Each and every one of us has a distinct shine on them that they're supposed to reveal on their own. And so mentorship for me has been big because I feel that each one has to teach one. And most of the times I realize that the student is always a teacher, because the teacher is nothing but a student. So the more you impact broader perspective, the more impact awareness, the more impact broadening of perspective to other people. You think you're doing it to them, but you're doing it to yourself. And then in the light of my example, as I live my life, as I handle the challenges that come every day, and others see that in the light of my example, and they fashion their own lives in that same regard, I feel that it's always such a learning curve, and so this is what pushes me to be a mentor and to want to help people be better.
Nice.
For a change.
That's beautiful. And so you are involved in mental health and relationship coaching. How do you see these aspects intertwining with your roles and interests?
You see, all the things that I envisage in terms of music, in terms of my green space, in terms of agriculture, in terms of my role as a father, they are all roles that I have to play that involve people. For the success of any of these many hats that I wear, for them to be successful, they need to be in the same sync with other people around me. And so the only way I can be able to be successful at it is if I am building a group of people around me in the different facets of what I'm doing to be at the highest version. So mentorship, having the right mental fortitude as you deal with life, as you engage issues in everyday life. These are some of the things that make me feel like my different purposes, my different facets are becoming better because the people around me are becoming better. So they shine the light in me more, and I shine the light in them more. And so that's why the mentorship for me becomes quite important in all my roles.
Okay. Your role as an agriculture projects coordinator is quite unique.
Yes.
How do you manage to contribute to smallholder farmers while wearing so many hats?
Growing up, we learned that agriculture was the backbone of the economy. Well, at least on paper. And so, personally, I didn't have such a strong nudge towards agriculture in the past, if I'm to be honest with you. And when I left campus, of course, I joined banking, and from banking, I decided, or I felt that I needed to have something bigger, to contribute something bigger in terms of this huge backbone that we call agriculture. And so it is what guided me to what I currently do in terms of supporting smallholder farmers, middleholder farmers to enhance food security. And so we work towards providing clean seed. We work towards aggregating produce for smallholder farmers, getting them good pricing for their produce, giving them assurance that season on season they're able to get a market for their produce, and creating linkages for them to be supported. So we realize that for agriculture to be a success, it is a couple of nodes that have to all of them work in the right tandem. And in no time, when you see an entire value chain in, for example, a tomato value chain, a potato value chain, a passion value chain, a mango value chain, when you see it grow, it is because the logistics people never slacked on the job. The financial providers to the farmers never slacked on the job. The farmers themselves applied themselves. The input providers brought the right chemicals or the right fertilizer or the right organic fertilizer to help the crops be better. And so when I look at that whole mambo jumbo coming up together of all these different nodes from the granular level to the macro level, then I see a value chain that is working because of my intervention in agriculture. It excites me, and so that's why I got that great passion in agriculture, and it keeps growing. And I pray that even one day I might pass it to my children. Yeah.
What strategies do you employ to stay organized and efficient while juggling all these diverse responsibilities?
Well, I think keeping a live calendar and keeping a diary that I actually follow really helps in planning my day, in planning my days in a month, in knowing the tasks that are urgent, having a priority list, knowing that this is urgent, this has to be done now, this can wait a bit, but it has to be done before this. So I set for myself deadlines. I talk to the stakeholders of the different things that I'm doing so that they also keep me on check on some of the roles that I do. And that way, coupled by a good functional diary, I think it always works, and I realize that time is never there. Time is so fleeting, but when you plan, it becomes that tad bit easier to wear many hats. And of course, there's something to be said about specialization or diversification. Who came first? Or who is better? Do you better diversify or do you better specialize? And it's neither here nor there. If I'm to follow our greatest teacher, Christ, one day I was seeing him being a healer. So today he was a surgeon and an optician, making those blind to see. Tomorrow he was helping. He was orthopedic, or what do you call them, for the bones. He's helping the lepers walk. The next day he's EABL, he's turning water into wine. The next day he's raising people from the dead. So it is not a new concept. This diversification is not a new concept, and we have to embrace wearing many hats at one go, so long as you keep focus on each particular hat and make sure that you take it all to the end. Yeah.
Amazing.
Yeah.
So one of your passions is food. So tell us, is it the eating or the cooking?
Oh, I love eating. I love eating, and I love good food. And at that, I love eating food that I actually cook. And just like any form of art, I feel that food is an art. And I usually am that should I call myself a chef or a cook? But I'm that person that wants to make my meal as sweetest as possible in the shortest possible time. And so I want to research beforehand. So if I'm doing a barbecue, I want to know how I'll marinate it. I want to know how I'll put all the ingredients together. I want to know how what time I'll give it in the oven, for example, or if I'm baking the same, or if I'm doing a stir fry, or if I'm doing rice, or if I'm doing a pudding. And so I try research. I try to put the ingredients together. I try to be artistic about it. I try to see what other people are doing with similar meals, and most of the times I get it right. Once in a while I niche, as it should be, because I mean it's an experimentation. But yeah, it always works, and I like savoring a good meal, and especially when I see like I've taken it all the way from scratch to something that people like, something that I like. Yeah, and so I think that's where my passion for food, for cooking comes from. And so I think the next phase now will be soups and juicing. I want to learn a bit about that and how I can make it interesting. Yeah.
Nice. So you are a self-proclaimed chef.
Thank you. Where's my hat? I want to wear that hat.
Now you are a father.
Yes.
Being a father and having such a multifaceted life,
Yes.
how do you find time for yourself and maintain that work-life balance?
Wow, I can tell you it's never easy, and it's all about planning it out. But I take my role as a father quite importantly, and for me it's not a chore. For me it's a beautiful thing, and I love my children, and so I love creating time with them. I love talking to them. I love listening to their points of view and how their little minds are developing and growing, and at times they challenge me a lot, and I learn a lot from them. I get a lot of wisdom. I get to understand myself a lot in the light of their example, and so for me, of course, slowly but surely, I'd want to pass on what I do to them, but I don't try to impose it on them. I don't want to force it on them. I just want to be me and show them that they too can be able to project all the gifts that the Lord has given them, or that that they have been bestowed inside them, and they can be anything that they want to be. Yeah.
Amazing.
Yeah.
So what are some of the most important lessons you've learned from your experiences that you would like to pass on to our very good audience?
Well, lessons are many. It will depend on which particular side, because every day for me is usually a lesson. But anyway, if I'm to narrow down and be as general as possible, is I think one of the things that I've learned is that I am not of value to anyone else until I'm of value to myself. And so instead of so I realize as a person you have different things that at any one time are bothering you or are weighing heavily on you. There are people involved because you're also social beings, but the more I center myself and take attention away from things and events around me and people around me, and center myself in focusing on who I am, being in the right mental fortitude, being able to plan myself out, being able to appreciate myself more, being able to be in calm continence a majority of the time, being a jolly good fellow. Those things help me be a better projection of myself. And weirdly, I realize that when I do that, it's easy for me to draw to me people and events and tasks that mirror exactly what I'm projecting. And so, yeah, I start with myself a majority of the times, and it works. Over time, I've learned it's the easiest way. And so, yeah, that's what I stand for. And if I was to guide anyone around it, I just tell them to be themselves and not fear making mistakes and not fear encountering pitfalls and successes, but taking everything that comes in good stride, but in good calmness and continence.
That's powerful.
Yeah.
How do you envision the future of Life Coach 254 and the impact in line of your various areas of interest?
Oh, so I view life codes in terms of in terms of growth. I see us developing a good level of audience beyond the 254, but first capturing the 254 itself. I want to have more engaging sessions with our audience. I want us to engage on different perspective of issues without being gagged by anything, and projecting value to people and helping people discover themselves. And I want to have an engaging session that goes beyond just the normal interaction, but also through events that we can have one-on-one interaction with our audience. and get them to address these issues that we talk about themselves as well, and to have that on set and to have such live sessions. I think that's the direction I'd see Life Codes growing towards, such that it becomes a whole tribe.
Amazing.
Yeah.
So where do you see Life Codes in 5 years?
So in 5 years, I see Life Codes starting to go Africa-wide, and maybe thereafter it can go global. But for now, I have my sights set on the 254. Yeah, so I'm seeing it grow, seeing the viewership grow, having engaging sessions such that the content is also curated from our audience point of view, and broadening the perspective from that particular facet.
That has been Harry for you. If you have any other questions, on the comment section.
Coolio.
Do you think you have told them all about yourself?
Well, I think so. It's the hardest thing, putting yourself in a mirror and projecting yourself out, and it's never easy, but somehow we have to.
You captured it.
Exactly.
You did.
Yeah.
That has been Life Codes 254. Harry for you.
Harry Writho.
Find him on YouTube. Listen to his music.
Instagram, Facebook.
All that.
Yeah.
And join us for the next episode.
Yeah.